Western ideas of motherhood and mother love have stressed an essentially womanly ethic and ethos of maternal responsiveness, attentiveness, and caring labor. To Sarah Ruddick, mother love is altogether natural. This view has been applied in a global fashion, suggesting a universal maternal script that all mothers naturally follow. The universality of maternal thinking and maternal practice is expressed in this upcoming film, Babies, following the mothering of 4 babies in different places around the world. This modern and Western conceptualization of motherhood has been promoted and advocated by cultural feminists and critical bonding theorists. Yet this highly romanticized view of the universal innate bond and natural mother love is largely a poetic rather than realistic one, and has come under much attack recently. Mother love varies across time and space. It is shaped by the larger sociopolitical and cultural context within which it exists. It is affected by developing national ideologies and advances in reproductive technologies. It is also a limited resource constrained by economic circumstances. Such realities result in a more pragmatic notion of motherhood. Ellie Tiemann, Arlie Russell Hochschild, and Nancy Scheper-Hughes illustrate the contextual nature of motherhood and refute notions of a natural mother love. In Birthing a Mother, Tiemann focuses her discussion of natural motherhood in national ideologies and reproductive technology, specifically surrogacy in Israel. In Israel, the government has nationalized and embedded the ideology of the natural role of women as mothers. Reproduction is the Jewish-Israeli woman's national mission. To support this ideology, the government has gone as far as to fully fund artificial insemination and IVF treatment for Israeli women who are having trouble conceiving. In cases where such technologies have failed, women turn to surrogacy as a last resort. Surrogacy stands at odds with Israel's national ideology. It is seen as doubly against nature. Mothers are regarded as having failed in their natural ability to give birth, and surrogates are seen as going against their maternal nature by giving up their child. Surrogates have countered such sentiments by reconceptualizing their bodies. Most surrogates develop notions of the artificial body. Surrogates and participants in surrogacy feel that kinship and therefore motherhood is genetically based. By carrying another couple's child, surrogates are serving merely as a vehicle for the child to be born. Surrogates feel that the child they are carrying does not belong to them, since there is no genetic relation. Surrogates also feel that since the child is a product of medical technology and artificial process, they do not develop the normal emotional attachment. Thus, medical knowledge has resulted in a mind-body separation of the self, emotion, and thought from the actual processes the body is undergoing. Surrogates are thus able to redefine and realign themselves with Israeli notions of natural motherhood. Tiemann shows us how biomedical language and national ideologies can shape ideas on motherhood. In the chapter Love and Gold in Hochschild's book Global Woman, Hochschild discusses the importation of mother love from the Third World in the form of nannies. The rise of the working successful mother in the West has resulted in the division of the woman's time between work and home. Hochschild claims that mother love has become a precious and commodified resource. The movement of first world women into the workplace has resulted in the extraction of mother love from the Third World in the form of nannies. Nannies have taken on the role of mothering in the West while unable to fulfill their roles as mothers for their own children in their own homes. The new movie Mammoth illustrates the consequences of this fairly new phenomenon.
I feel like all I ever do is work and work and work, and I feel like I'm never at home.
Yes.
I'm starting to feel so useless around here. I just feel like the worst mother. Tell me about your boys. How are your boys doing?
Oh, they are fine.
Uwi na kayo, Nay.
Mahal na mahal ka ng nanay.
Dr. Vidalis, you need to call home. Your daughter, she's been calling a couple of times.
Why? Is she okay?
Nancy Scheper-Hughes echoes Hochschild and Tiemann in her ethnography of the people of Nordeste Brazil. In what Scheper-Hughes terms a political economy of the emotions, mother love is constrained by larger political, economic, and cultural forces. In the case of the residents of the shantytown Alto do Cruzeiro, the remnants of a feudal economy and the power and dominance of traditional landed classes have left the shantytown residents in a perpetual state of extreme poverty and dependency. The military violence of the state, chronic hunger, and endemic disease has led to the routinization of death, particularly of infant and child death. Thus, women are forced to ration their love in an environment where infants are expected to die. The people of this area often refer to infants as born with a will to die. In interviewing many of the residents, Scheper-Hughes found that the women average around 10 pregnancies and 4 surviving children. The high expectancy of death and the ability to face death with stoicism has allowed women to provide differential mothering to babies thought of as survivors and those seen as already wanting to die. Survivors were nurtured, while weak, stigmatized infants were allowed to die of neglect. Scheper-Hughes' analysis of mother love and child death among the shantytown residents does not call for a moral relativism. She does not mean to suggest that the practice of selective neglect is acceptable. Rather, Scheper-Hughes shows us how maternal thinking and practice is shaped by high expectancy of death set within the context of political violence, class conflict, poverty, and scarcity. Rationing of love is necessary for the survival of these people, and while the weak are let go, the strong are held close. Here is Lourdes and her son Zizinho. Lourdes had doomed Zizinho to an early death, and by designating him weak as an infant. With the help of neighbors, the child survived and grew to develop a close, protective, and loving relationship with his mother, free of any bitterness. Motherhood is anything but natural. It is largely shaped by culture and is often more pragmatic than poetic. Yet, as we've seen, it varies across and even within contexts. Though Scheper-Hughes often found indifference and neglect in the alto, she also found the beautiful love seen between Lourdes and her son Zizinho.